Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly, and I'm really glad you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun this morning. We're just going to chat a little bit and do some easy, everyday fun makeup. I'm also going to do a wear test on the new CYO foundation. You might have seen my video where I did a first impressions of this, and I was over the moon. It is such a fabulous foundation. But I didn't have time to do a wear test on that particular day, and I wasn't using the primer that I'm really in love with right now. So I've gotten the primer, I've got the foundation. I'm going to go ahead and use it today in our look together, and then we'll do a wear test throughout the day, and I'll let you know how it goes. This is such a fan favorite. I believe this is $7 or $8. I'll put a link down below and let you know for sure. But we're going to be testing this out today and seeing if it really is as good as it certainly seemed in the very beginning. We're going to talk about an everyday look that I've been wearing a lot lately. It's super easy to do, and it's with one of my favorite shadow companies, and that's Milani. We're going to be working with both the basic mattes and must-have naturals palettes. And I'll go ahead and open those up so you can see. You can see this one in particular has been very, very much loved. I have used the heck out of this, and I use it for a number of things. I use it not only for my eyeshadow looks almost on the daily, but I also use it for my eyebrows, and I'll go over that a little bit during the video. And then this one, the must-have naturals, is just a gorgeous palette and has some beautiful natural color shadows in there. You can see that. And I love this one just as much as that one. So if you're not a person that really wants to own a lot of makeup or is interested in owning a lot of makeup, I can tell you that just these two palettes right here, these two palettes, you could have every look you need for every day and for evening. And they're very affordable. I believe these palettes are about $10. So it's a great use of your money if you're not really into owning a lot of makeup and you just want an easy way to get some shadow on and have things look nice. These are a great alternative to a lot of the more expensive, more elaborate palettes. Today I have done my serums and moisturizers. My face is all ready to go. I did do my eyebrows off camera, and you know, when I was doing it I was laughing. I think that doing eyebrows is a lot like making sausage. It's something that nobody wants to see. So I've done my eyebrows off camera. They're looking okay. I tried a couple of new products today that I purchased, and both of them were a huge fail. I'll put them in my like it, love it, or leave it video towards the end of the month. So let's get started with the eyeshadow today. I'm going to be using the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. And this is just a little sample that I got in a purchase from Ulta when I bought the Lorac Pro palette. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out on my ring finger, about that much, and just tap that really easily over the eyes. And this look today is super simple, but it's really, really pretty, and it really can go from day into evening. So it's one of my favorite looks because I can put it on in the morning, and regardless of what happens during the day, I feel good about, you know, my makeup being appropriate to the situation. So while that primer is setting, I'm going to go ahead and go in and put my face primer on so that it has time to really dry down and settle into my skin while we're doing the eyeshadow. And I have my e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. This is my favorite primer right now. I love it. I love the way that my makeup really reacts with it, particularly my concealer. On the back of my hand, you can see about that much. And then I'm just going to wash it over my face, particularly paying attention to my under eye area because that's where, you know, the concealer sits, and that's where I have a lot of texture and nooks and crannies. So this goes on really, really smoothly. It's a silicone-based primer. And it feels almost a little like baby powderish once it hits the skin. It's really a nice, lovely feel. Coffee break time. You might be wondering why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt when it's summertime. You might be sweating where you are. I'm freezing. I actually live at the ocean. I'm pointing there because I'm looking at the ocean right behind the camera. And I live at the ocean, the Northern California coast. And when I say I live at the ocean, I mean it's my place, a field, and then the water. So we can get pretty nippy here. And right now it's really hot inland in inland California. And when it gets really hot in inland, it creates an inversion layer that pushes the fog to us. So we're just nice and cool and all fogged in and cozy this morning, but I'm a little nippy, so which is why I have on the long sleeve shirt and the warm coffee. I'm going to start out with the Must Have Naturals palette this morning, and we're going to do a super simple, just a 2 shadow look that's really, really pretty. And we're going to use a shimmer shade from this palette, and we're going to use a matte shade from the other palette. So I'm going to start in with this palette, and I'm going to go into this color right here. And I don't believe these have names, but this is the shimmer shade that's right in the middle of the palette. And I'm just going to tap my brush into that, get off any excess, and then just start working that all over the crease and the lid. You know, you guys, if you watched my introduction video on my channel, you might have seen that I just finished up 2 years of full-time travel. Actually, it was more than 2 years. And I really did leave the country with just a suitcase, a carry-on suitcase, a tiny carry-on suitcase and a backpack, because that was all I owned. I sold everything I owned and left the country for quite a while. And I've had some questions about that. And when I did it, it seemed like the most logical next step. But getting there, it didn't happen all at once. You know, I had raised my girls in Northern California, more inland in the valley. And while they were growing up, I had like a really, really big show. I owned a company. I was in the gift and paper products industry for a long time. I worked as an illustrator. And then later on, I became an agent. So I represented myself and other artists. And in that mix, while I was raising 2 girls, and I was a single mom, during that time, not only did I have the art licensing business, but I started a pool company, a pool construction company too. So I really had a very, very big show. I'm just washing that shimmer shade. It's kind of a taupey brown over the lids and into the crease. And I just think that that's the prettiest, most sophisticated color. It really looks very, very pretty on the skin, and it has a bit of shimmer, but not too much, not to the point where I think that it's inappropriate for someone with a little bit more mature skin. So I'm just going to put a real nice coat of that all over the lid and in the crease. I'm going to go in with my blending brush and just blend out the edges really well. So anyway, back to my really big show when the kids were growing up. I had a big house and a pool, and oh gosh, it was just every day was a to-do list. And, I just spent all my time managing things and lists and paying bills and, raising the girls in their school and all that was so fun. I had one daughter in volleyball and one daughter in dance. So we were in the car driving a lot, and they were always in activities. And anyway, I just always say, my life was a really, really big show. Once they left, they grew up and got lives of their own. I just came to the conclusion that, I didn't want to live this frantic life anymore. I kept saying to people, I want a bigger, smaller life. I'm going right into this cream color in the Basics palette, and you can see that's been much loved. This is the most beautiful cream color for underneath your brows, and I wish that Milani sold this in individuals, but apparently they don't. So I guess I'm gonna have to go out and buy this whole palette again in order to get that. It's just a beautiful, beautiful shade, and I'm gonna run that underneath my eyebrows, just across the brow bone. Just real softly. And then what I like to do with colors like this is I kind of think of them as a wash color, and I sort of just take them along the edges of any shadow I have going there, and it really smooths it out and blends it in. And I always bring a little bit into the inside corner because I get some darkness there. As you get older, or at least for me, I get some puffiness in the inside corners of my eyes, and this seems to brighten it up just a little bit. Now I'm going to go back in with the other palette, the Must Have Naturals, and they have a cream shade as well, which is right here, but this is a slight shimmer shade. So I'm just going to tap my brush into there, get off the excess, and I'm just going to tap that at the high point of my brow, just right at the very top, to give it just a little bit of shimmer and pop. So there we have it. We have a very, very easy eye look that really goes well from day to evening. And if you wanted to dress it up, let's say you worked all day and then you ended up going out to dinner, you could really go in with one of the darker colors in either one of these palettes. They have a beautiful black here or this dark shade, and just put that in the outside corner and really give it kind of a nice smoky look. All right, now that we've got the eyes pretty much in place, I'm going to start in with the CYO foundation. And I was really nervous about buying this foundation for the longest time because I have to buy it online. We just don't have any shopping options up here. And I wasn't sure of the shade, but I went ahead and just took the plunge and I got shade 101, and it fits my skin color just perfectly. So it worked out well for me. I do know some people that had to buy 3 and 4 colors in order to get the right shade for them, but I was lucky I didn't have to do that. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going to start dabbing that over my face. And for me, I really need to go on the outside edges of my face because I've got a lot of sunspots that need covering. We'll go ahead and start blending that out. The thing that I was really impressed with when I first tried it, my first impression, is that how well it blended, and it feels so smooth and light. It doesn't feel like, you know, there's a foundation sitting on your skin. Can you see that already? It really blends beautifully. So anyway, back to the story of how I ended up traveling full time. You know, so the kids were gone and I was just tired. I was tired of my life just being frantic every day. It's almost like we live in a culture of do instead of be and enjoy. And I just kind of, you know, I kind of hit the wall. And I started making different decisions. Instead of owning, you know, a really big house that needed a lot of maintenance and was big bills and stuff, you know, I just wanted to, you know, ratchet things down, downsize, and own less and do more fun stuff. I wanted to spend my time doing fun things instead of managing all the things I owned. So that's kind of how it all started. And I can still remember the day I was driving home and I was thinking to myself, you know, I want to have fun. I don't want to feel burdened anymore about my life. And that decision right there is what kicked everything off. So that was how it started. It's certainly not how it ended. You know, the adventures that I went on after that were quite interesting. But anyway, so that's the first installment of how I ended up traveling full time. But I am back in California now, Northern California, and I actually bought my first piece of furniture that I own in, you know, more than a couple of years. I bought a bed. So I'm being very, very careful about the things I add to my life because I know how suffocating it can be to just be overwhelmed by, you know, all the obligations. So anyway, enough of that talk. Let's see what we've got going on here with the makeup. I just love this foundation. I hope you can pick it up on camera, but it's really just an almost flawless finish. And particularly with this beauty sponge, it looks just really, really gorgeous. All right, so I've got all the foundation blended in. I'm so pleased with that. I'm gonna do the under eye concealer now, and I'm gonna work with the Rimmel Lasting Finish. You guys, if you've seen my videos before, you know how much I love this, and it plays particularly well with the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this underneath the eyes and get that going on. It has one of those sponge tips, which I'm not that crazy about, but you know, you just work around it. I wish it was just like a little squeeze tube. So I've got a little bit on the back of my hand, and that's probably even too much, but I'll just dip in my ring finger right there and start blending that in under the eye. And the nice thing about this concealer is it doesn't dry down too quick, so you've got a little bit of time to work with it. Now that I have that concealer all worked in with my finger, I like to go in with a beauty sponge afterwards and just put a nice little silky finish on top of it. Okay, I have that concealer all tapped out. Now I'm going to go in with the CYO setting powder. And this is new to me. I got it with the CYO foundation. I haven't used it very much. I'm not really sure how it's going to work with the under eye concealer. I've always really liked using my e.l.f. HD finishing powder with that, but we'll see how this works out today. So I'm just going to tap a little bit into the lid. You can see right there. And this is a clear powder. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. angled brush, tap a little bit on the brush, get all the excess off, and then just lay that right underneath my eyes. I'm going to take the rest and just go over the face and kind of set that foundation. I'm going to go back in with my beauty sponge now and just tap that powder in to that foundation and that concealer. So I'm curious, have you ever had that experience where you just felt like your life had just gotten too busy and too crazy and you just wanted to make a change? Comment down below if you've had that experience. You know, it just all of a sudden hit me, and boy, I'll tell you, everything just changed really dramatically after that, for the better. I just love it when companies come out with a really good product at a really good price that's fair for everyone. I just think that's such a wonderful thing. You know, in an industry like the beauty industry where there are so many incredibly overpriced products, I just feel like it's so nice when, you know, something comes out that's really, really worth the money that they're asking for it. So I'm going to go in now with my e.l.f. bronzer palette. You guys have seen this sad little thing more times than you probably wish you had. It has 4 colors. I have 3 because it landed on the tile, and another one is hitting pan, but this is just what I have right now and I'm loving it, so I guess I'm going to keep using it. And I'm just going to go around the edges of the face, and I just run my brush back and forth over the top 2 colors and just mix them together. Go along the sides of my cheeks, up around my forehead, and then down along my chin line. For blush today, I'm going to use 2 different blushes. I'm going to put down a base coat with this Pink Nudes from Profusion. This is one of my favorite blushes. And this particular blush, it's called Fantasia. It has just a little bit of sparkle and glow to it. So it gives a really nice finish to the skin that lasts all day. And I just think it's such a pretty, pretty look. So I'm going to take my little tiny blush brush and just tap it in to that rosy color right there, that Fantasia, and just really wash that very gently over the cheeks. Can you see that little bit of sparkle? I don't know if the camera is picking it up. You know, and it lasts all day. The formulas in these palettes are just superb. I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. blending brush and blend that out into that bronzer and into the foundation. For my highlight today, I'm going to go into a golden oldie. You might remember these. This is an Hourglass product. I think I've had this for years. I'm sure that somebody would tell me I have to throw it out. This is their highlighter powder when those very first started coming out. I think this is called Ambient Dim Glow or something. But I'm just going to take this with a little tapered brush. I'm going to dip it in here really lightly. And I don't want a whole lot of shimmer today because this is just a real natural everyday look. This is the kind of thing you can wear, you know, your jeans and t-shirts to go to the farmer's market. So I don't want a whole lot of poppy blingy highlight, but a little bit will be nice. So I'm just going to put that gently over the tops of the cheeks and down a little bit into the apple of the cheek, real lightly. They came out with these when, you know, highlighters were just coming out. I'm going to tight line today with the Ulta Gel Liner. I really like these and I use them a lot, almost in every one of my videos. And I'm just going to run that right under the lash line. For mascara today, I'm going to use the CoverGirl Exhibitionist right there. I love this mascara. You know, I started out liking it and then I liked it a little bit more and then I liked it a little bit more. Now I think I'm really falling in love with it. It's a beautiful mascara. It's a great price point. It really lengthens and thickens the lashes, gives a lot of volume. And it just doesn't come off. And I tell you, it doesn't come off. And getting it off at night can sometimes be a challenge, but it's really a terrific mascara. If you haven't tried it, I would recommend that you give it a try. It's really worth the price point. You can see how lengthening and volumizing that mascara is. For lip today, I wanted to keep it real neutral so this stays just a nice, natural, everyday look. So I'm going to go in with the NYX lip liner, and you can see that this has been around the block with me, and this is in the color Natural. And with my lip liner, I like to go back in and soften the edges up just a little bit with my finger. so that it just doesn't look real stark. And then for lips, I'm going to use the Stay Satin from Rimmel. This is in the color Rosetta. This is just a really pretty kind of pinky nude color. This formula is really nice and creamy. It feels great going on. So I think we're pretty much all set for today. Got a nice natural look that'll take me from the farmer's market out to dinner. So here we have our finished, easy, everyday look. I just love these Milani shadows. If you're looking for an easy shadow collection that, you know, is going to come in just around $20 for everything that you need, these two palettes are really standout, exceptional palettes. Now the CYO foundation, I'm loving it this time just as much as I did the first time. I'm going to be doing a wear test on it today, so I'll be checking in a couple of times during the day and letting you know how it goes throughout the day. I'm really kind of excited to see if this is going to become my, you know, go-to favorite. It certainly seems like that now. So I'm back with a 10-hour check-in. It's about 8:30 at night, and I put the makeup on about 10:30 this morning. So mostly concerned about how the CYO held up. Now, my concealer had a rough day because my eyes have been watering all day. There must be something blooming that I'm a little allergic to. So I've got these little troughs on the side of my eyes that, you know, moisture's just been coming down all day long. So my concealer has had a hard time with that, but the foundation really looks pretty good. Can you see? It's still on, it's still covering. It's even covering pretty much all my sunspots over on the side. Still a lot of coverage there. That's amazing. It has collected a little bit in the sides of my nose, just a little bit, and it's broken up a little on the top of my nose, but that might be because I blew my nose a couple of times today. It's a little bit broken up right here, but not bad. It's only if you look really close. And maybe worn off my chin a little bit, but other than that, I think it's just worn fabulous. This is, I think this is an amazing foundation. It might be my new favorite. So thank you for joining me again. This is Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly. If you enjoy skincare, makeup, and style tips for the over 50 woman, be sure to hit the subscribe button down there so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'd love to have you in the YouTube family here. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be nice. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for spending part of your day with me. Bye now. I'll see you next time.